I'm heading to the Highlands to stalk deer. I don't enjoy hunting animals for sport, but it's not sportsmen who are pushing to kill more deer in Scotland. It's conservationists.
And I can see at least 4 scattered on that hillside, and we know that there's a bigger group on the right that we've been keeping an eye on. So within this sort of square kilometre, we've probably got 10 deer, and
I'm glad you've got X-ray eyes, because I can't see any.
Swarovski binoculars, yeah.
Trained vet Neil McIntosh is employed by the environmental charity the John Muir Trust to cull a tiny fraction of Scotland's 750,000 deer. His work in the Highlands has provoked controversy, not from animal rights activists, but from traditional landowners whose deer stalking businesses have boomed as Scotland's deer population has trebled since the 1970s.
We think of the Highlands of Scotland as a great wilderness, but this is a landscape shaped by man. Our use of timber, sheep, and now deer has removed virtually every tree from this landscape, except in tiny pockets like this island behind us.
This pitiful cluster of indigenous trees offers a stark picture of how the Highlands used to be. And, as long as the deer population is allowed to flourish, these isolated patches of trees are all there will ever be. So Fran, what's going on here with this little tree?
Okay, well this is a young birch tree. I say young, but it could be perhaps 20, 25 years old. So that's why you get this thick stem here, and then all these little thin ones on the end here. It's just because it gets nipped off. The deer keep the nice juicy ones nipped off when they eat them.
So it should be growing up big?
Yeah, it could be. It should be a much higher.
Like all the birch trees over there?
Yeah, I mean, it would be surprised if it was certainly nearly almost as tall as them. It's been bonsaied, if you like, by the effect of the constant browsing year on year.
And that's the deer doing that?
That's the deer that are doing that,
There isn't anything else that would be doing it?
There's nothing here, no.
And this landscape we're in, to me, this is wonderful, but it actually isn't a very healthy environment.
No, it's beautiful and it's a fantastic landscape, but it's very impoverished. People get really upset when they hear about rainforests being cut down, but we've lost ours already. This is all that's left.
These trees are waiting there, they're bubbling under, they're waiting to get away, and you don't need to eradicate herbivore pressure, but you just need to take that down for a little while to allow the regeneration to start to take place, and once it does, there's more shelter and a much more balanced and diverse ecosystem for all the other plants and animals that aren't getting a chance to come away just now.
But many commercial shooting estates in the Highlands are passionately opposed to reducing deer numbers.
I think the sadness is that the red deer has become almost like this witch. It's become a forestry witch. The ecology groups have got so intensified on creating forestry that it's almost like they can't see the woods for the trees, excuse the pun, and that the red deer has become public enemy number 1 here.
I don't know of any professional stalkers that relish the actual act of physically killing deer. I think most people regard it as a necessary part of the job and take a pride in doing it humanely, but the skill isn't taking the shot, the skill is getting yourself in a position to take the shot.
So we've got our first reasonably close sight of a deer within a few hundred yards, but it's taken us 3 hours to get to this point. Stalking takes a lot of patience, and then once you get into position you have to slow your breathing down, so it takes composure too.
You see them just to the right of that big rectangular rock. Yes. I can see her just under 200 yards away. So I'm going to take the shot whenever I can, okay? Oh, good shot.
You got it?
Yes. Yes, we did.
I didn't even see it go down.
Landowners claim that jobs in the Highlands depend on sports shooting and tourists who want to see stags against the skyline. But MSP Rob Gibson, who is leading Scottish Parliament's investigation into whether more deer should be culled, thinks that shifting the balance of nature could enhance the local economy.
And a lot of the big landowners say that jobs are at risk if you start to significantly reduce the deer as you would propose.
I don't believe that for 1 minute. I think that the shooting estates are not, in most cases, economical. They belong to people with deep pockets, sometimes for their own personal sport. More people want to see animals and birds alive, and I think that would bring in far more money to our area.
Ultimately, this argument over deer will shape how the Highlands look in the future. Landowners like Andy Hibbert fear that trendy rewilding will not just destroy the stalking industry, but create a landscape that no one wants to visit.
When you're dealing with a wild creature, you can't just control it. So to shoot every single deer and say, well, there we go, we've got lots of forestry, I leave you with the question now, what are we then left with? A barren wilderness of trees that no one would really care too much about.
But conservation groups, including the Scottish Wildlife Trust, say it's not just about trees. Killing more deer will rejuvenate precious peat bog and montane scrub habitats and boost native mammals, birds and insects all the way through the food chain.
So, as you can see, come out the other side. So I mean that is exactly where I was aiming for a humane shot. That's just what you would want. Well, first we need to grallocha, and what we need to do is to take out the ruminant stomachs and the intestines. We need to remove these stomachs because the fermentation that takes place as part of the normal digestive process continues now after death. So it's essential from the point of view of producing good quality venison that the gralloch takes place very quickly after you've shot them. Right now. And we can leave this.
Is that the contents of its stomach?
That's the contents of its stomach.
So you can see real recent grafts.
You see that? You can. I mean, see the little hexagonal.
Yeah.
That's the tripe.
She's had a busy morning eating grass there.
Eating grass.
Cool.
And we'll leave this on the hill because this is good food for foxes and ravens and buzzards. So we'll leave it out here.
Carrying crows.
Yes.
Just leave it in situ like this.
Leave it in situ.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
By the time we get to the bottom, do you think that we'll be seeing ravens coming in for it?
Usually.
That quick. Yeah.
It's never enjoyable to watch an animal die, but I can understand why conservation groups are so keen to restore a better balance of nature in the Highlands. These majestic mountains will never be smothered in trees, but would become far richer, diverse landscapes if the Scottish Government compels landowners to control more deer in the future.